great question, by the way. Anthem, in Anthem, like we give the player the opportunity to play the way they want to play. So if they want to enjoy more of the story and more of the narrative, then like they can spend their time in Fort Tarsis, which is the safe haven you have in the world of Anthem, where you can meet all the characters, the NPCs, agents like Yarrow, Green, Matthias. You can meet your crew members like Haluk, Faye, and Owen, and you can speak with them. You can get a lot of the lore about the world and what's happening, why the world is the way that it is, and like what is that threat that is coming from the north, call it the Dominion, what's going on. So if you enjoy the narrative, you can go around and explore Fort Tarsis, getting more missions and more understanding better the mysteries of the world. If you want to be more into the ethno side, you can also play the game and just go in mission after mission after mission after mission, right? as much as you want. If you want to, what was the first thing? Exploring, right? If you want to explore, then you can go into the free play mode and just like play as much as you want, exploring all the world, all the regions that we have available, and all the little caves and underwater passages, and flying through the world. So it's a game that is a little bit different in terms of the verticality. It's a game that allows people to play with 4 different javelin suits. As a freelancer, you can pilot those javelin suits, and each javelin suit has a different play style. So we're giving many options for the player to enjoy the game, whatever way and in whatever pace they want. Honestly, it was one of the biggest challenges we had, actually. It's how to create an open world game that you have so much verticality and you can put like so much density inside that area because of the verticality, in a way that it's also allowing the players, let's say, not to fly and like infinitely. So you want people, because like if they can fly forever, then it might be fun, but then you're missing a lot of content that is down there. So how do we strike a balance between you can fly and do a lot of cool stuff, but at the same time we're going to bring you to the ground sometimes, let's say with the stamina. So you have like some stamina that allows you to fly for some time, but if you fly for too long, then you're going to like have to go down a little bit and find some of the content that is down there. It was really tricky and difficult, but I think we're getting good results so far. You know, you're flying and then you see something that is interesting and you start hovering like automatically, and whatever, there's a creature there that is attacking you, you're shooting them, and then or like maybe you need to go underwater to pick up something. Like we want the players to be able to explore and traverse whatever way they want. Of course, like the more they play, the better they get at it. And different javelin suits, like they're gonna have different, I shouldn't say abilities, but they do feel different when you fly with them, when you traverse with them. Like the Colossus is gonna be more bulky, it's gonna feel more heavy. Although they all have the same top speed, but they do feel different. Like if you try to like jump with the Colossus, like it takes a little bit longer, but then you can go a little bit higher when you go. So they're like nice little details that once you start playing more often, you start to notice. And the Storm, for example, they can hover like way longer than like all the other classes can, for example. And the Storm, even the Storm, like let's say that you like the Storm, you can have like so many different builds and gear around the Storm. Like your build can be so different that you can be like like I've seen like a Storm that worked as a tank for our group, because the guy like created like a really nice solid build for being a tank. So you can change your playstyle even with the same javelin suit. You can be like a support on the back, you can be a tank, depending on whatever weapons and gears and components you use. You can have a different playstyle. So we expect the players, like if they're playing like the first missions of the game, like they can play, let's say, whatever way they want. They can experiment and they can try things out and try different builds. But once they get to the more, let's say, challenging parts of the game, once they go to the strongholds, for example, then they're going to start like making some strategies, right? Because like they are like super tough challenges, and you go like, okay, maybe for that one, like because that kind of enemy, it's not, well, we should take some kind of a gun with acid because we want to put that stats on them, and so you kind of have to start like making the strategy for combos and what you're going to take, what am I going to take, so that we can maximize our power and stuff like that. So that changes the way that you start like now having different goals for, oh, now I want to have that kind of a gear or that kind of weapon that gives me that 20% damage or 20% debuff or whatever it is. And you have like different goals for you now. And because you want to have those weapons, you may say, oh, I want to craft those. In order to craft those, I'm going to get like materials. I'm going to go in free play. So there's like a loop that also brings you back to better gear, better loot. We want to make sure that if you want to play Anthem alone, you can, and if you want to play with your friends, you also can. So the game is going to balance it out. Let's say that you're playing alone, there is a certain number of enemies that you're going to find, which is not going to be the same number of enemies if you're going in a group of 4, because otherwise it would be super easy for that group of 4, right? So sometimes we change the number of enemies or the type of enemies that you're facing or how long they're going to be there. So there are many different variables depending on the combat that you're having that we can change and tweak in order to make it, let's say, always challenging, regardless of if you have 1, 2, 3, or 4 players in the group. We do so on like every single mission in the game. Like we have to play, let's say, with 1 player, with 2 players, 3 players, 4 players, and we get those reports back of how much fun it was or how much difficult it was. It is very difficult, to be honest, like to balance that out, because you have so many variables once you have like 4 different players. Because like we can have 4 storms in our group, but we can have a storm with a Colossus, with a Ranger, with an Intercept. It's the same mission can have like many different, like can be easier or more difficult depending on the loadouts that we also have. So it takes a lot of data to actually go through and balance the whole game. And honestly, to make things even more complex, like Anthem is a dynamic world, right? So we have like other things that happen in the world. Let's say rain, like depending on the weather state that you have. Like it can be day, it can be night, and some creatures may be more, you can see them more often during the day or during the night. Or when it's raining, for example, you can fly longer because it's cooling off the jets. So there, or if it's raining and use electricity, for example, you may get more damage because electricity and water, you know what happens. So there are different things that we can do in the world that also changes for the same mission how that mission should apply, and that's something that we did on purpose so that for after launch, like when we go into the live events, like we can have many different ways to change even the content that you already played, because we have like different variables that now we're tweaking. That is such a tough question, because like the answer is kind of both in a way. We try to make it in a way that, of course, like the better your skill in terms of like understanding the cooldowns and understanding the gears and the loadouts that you have, like you're gonna have more skill and be better to face the challenges of whatever combat you have in the mission. But at the same time, like there is also about the stats. Like I said, the loadouts also, like depending on the gears that you have, you're gonna have like better stats. It's gonna give you like an easier way to face the challenge, right? So you kind of have to combine both and understand both. I think there's both elements there. We have like different progressions, and like I said, like for the mid game, like we're gonna have like different progression goals, because now you're getting like some specific type of PM stuff. And once you get to the level 30, then yes, like you're gonna be looking for the masterworks. How do I craft the better masterwork than the one that I have? And yeah, you're gonna have like that RPG side of progression of getting the best like equipment, but also there's the skill also, because like even if you have all that gear, but you need to have some skill to also play how quick you are in terms of the loadouts and applying the combos and all that stuff, and working as a team as well.